This episode of Nerdist News Edition is sponsored by Borderlands 3. Here are the 6 what-if comics that have to be in the MCU Disney Plus TV show. While we already knew that it was coming, one of the most exciting pieces of news to come out of this year's Comic-Con was the casting announcement for the upcoming animated show for Disney Plus, What If? Based on the comic book of the same name, almost everyone from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the possible exception of Chris Evans, will be returning to voice their respective characters. Seriously, can't you just join in on the fun, Chris Evans?
No, I don't think I will.
All right. The anthology series will explore how certain moments in the MCU could have turned out just a little bit differently. Like, what if Peggy Carter had been the one to take the super soldier serum? What if Black Panther led the Guardians of the Galaxy? Or what if Jane Foster wielded Mjolnir, the hammer of Thor? Though that last one will actually just be the plot of the upcoming Thor 4 Love and Thunder, we do know that Marvel's rounded up 23 ideas from the movies, as well as the comic book series that will round out the show's first season. So we thought we'd dig out our long boxes to figure out 6 what-if issues that could possibly be adapted for the upcoming series. Let's kick things off with a big one. What if Thanos joined the Avengers? That's right, we're talking about the CrossFit California raisin himself. Published in 2015 as part of the What If Infinity one-shots, this issue explores how the Big Purple Meanie joins Earth's mightiest heroes to stop a race of aliens called the Builders, who are hell-bent on destroying the universe, which is ironic considering their name. While the Avengers succeed in stopping them, Captain America uncovers that Thanos has other machinations in play, which results in Roger's death at his Big Purple hands. After which, Thanos takes Cap's shield, as well as command of the Avengers as they prepare for the next big threat. Hint, hint, it's the 2015 event Secret Wars. So how could this play out in the MCU? While the Builder stuff might be a bit of a stretch to work in, we could see a possibility that they, or some other baddie like the Skrulls, or Kree, or Dormammu, could come knocking and threaten to undo all of his hard work, i.e. the destruction of all of existence. Being the master tactician that he is, Thanos agrees to an alliance or team up with the Avengers, where he slowly makes himself an ally with the team. Whether or not he truly becomes a hero would remain to be seen, but that journey would be a snap! And speaking of villains, what if Loki had been the one to find Thor's hammer? It was the final issue of the first volume of What If comics back in the late 70s and early 80s. This story has Loki finding Mjolnir before Thor, which results in Thor getting killed and almost sparking Ragnarok. While Thor is in the afterlife, Odin leads a rescue mission to save the Thunder God from the clutches of Hela. With this issue tied heavily to his comic book origins, we could see something similar like what happened at the MCU, where in the first Thor film, Loki tried to lift the hammer but was unsuccessful. However, in this episode, Loki could find a way around the enchantment and would be able to lift Mjolnir. It would be fun to see what the trickster god would get up to with the hammer, just like playing pranks on other gods, or, I don't know, hiding it from Thor, or maybe giving it to Noobmaster 69, who knows? All in all, this would be a fun Asgardian adventure and one that we hope to see on Disney Plus. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Loki, the god of thunder and mischief? But we can hammer out all the details later. Nailed it. Now, this next issue will throw some fans for a loop, but hang with us for just a moment. What if the Hulk killed Wolverine? As part of the special covers craze of the 1990s, it was a dark and simpler time. The 50th issue was a rather chilling tale that saw the Hulk snap Wolverine's neck and then go on a mutant killing spree as he's hunted down by the X-Men and the government's mutant team, Freedom Force. Now, wait, you might be saying to yourself, there are no mutants in the MCU, Dan. Yeah, I know, you're right. It's been around for so long, still no mutants. But imagine if instead of mutants, you just replaced them with the Avengers, and instead of Wolverine and his unbreakable adamantium skeleton, you swapped in Captain America and his shield, or Thor and his hammer, or you get the picture. During one of his rampages, Hulk could break the unbreakable like Cap's shield, or Thor's hammer, or Tony's ego, and end up killing that hero in the process. This, of course, would force the government to round up its other heroes to put a stop to his big green frenzy. Dark? I mean, yeah, sure, but honestly, there are generally 2 types of what-if outcomes: happiness for our heroes, or just the straight-up worst ending possible. That's why it's a hypothetical. This of course feeds into our next pick, Issue 19, Volume 2, What If Vision Conquered the World? In this story, those two exact outcomes are explored. After Vision links his consciousness to the space internet, he envisions, a golden age for mankind. In the utopian side of the story, heroes wipe out hunger and disease across the globe, then use their powers to spread goodness throughout the galaxy. So noble of them. But then there's the dystopian half. Another country freaks out over Vision's plans and blows up New York along with most of its heroes, because everyone knows all of the MCU and all of the Marvel Universe lives in they live in a one-bedroom apartment in Bushwick, apparently. Anyway, they try to kill him. Thanks to the intergalactic version of the Cloud, Vision survives and teams up with the world's villains to regain control, and as you might imagine, it goes terribly. As for adapting it to the MCU, well, pretty much just follow the same concepts. Vision has his consciousness uploaded to the internet, and we see both scenarios play out. Enough said. You know what's missing on this list, though? Time travel. Well, guess what? We've got a remedy for that with What If Iron Man had been trapped in King Arthur's time? As part of a twofer in What If number 33 from 1982, this story finds Iron Man abandoned in medieval times, the era, not the restaurant, after Dr. Doom betrays him. Stuck in Camelot and unable to build a time machine in a cave with a box of scraps, Tony becomes a knight of the Round Table with his solar-powered armor and takes over for King Arthur after he falls in battle. And I'm so sorry for bailing on that Obadiah Stane bit. Adapting this will actually be pretty simple. While the Avengers are in the middle of the Infinity Stone time heist in Endgame, Tony gets sidelined in the process and finds himself in ancient times. Unable to return, he eventually joins King Arthur along with another Marvel character that's been teased out, the Black Knight. We've got to be honest though, we're not sure if anyone will buy the whole he can't build a time machine in the past to get back to the future angle.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Oh I predicted the future. And finally, the last pick. What if Doctor Strange was a disciple of Dormammu? He's come to bargain for discount lessons. Published in 1979, the 18th issue of the series revealed what would have happened if Stephen Strange had strayed from the path of good. In the comic, Baron Mordo is able to heal Strange's wounded hands with Dormammu's black magic, and thus Strange never learns the lessons about selfishness and arrogance he so desperately needs. Since these are left unchecked, it leads to him losing his medical license, and he eventually joins forces with Mordo and Dormammu. This leads to an epic showdown of good and evil between Dormammu and the cosmic being known as Eternity, with Doctor Strange in the middle having to choose. Luckily for us, he goes with good. Haha! Good job, humanity. You didn't beef it. So how could we see this play out in the new series? Well, since Doctor Strange's movie origin mirrors his comic book origins pretty damn closely, this episode could almost be a shot-for-shot remake of the comic, but we'd like to offer up a twist. This time he chooses evil instead, resulting in the Dark Doctor Strange. And if they did this story, we could see this What If universe pop up in the upcoming Multiverse of Madness, aka Doctor Strange 2. Good Doctor Strange versus evil Doctor Strange, please make it happen. I love when my medical professionals fight. And there you go, folks. 6 What If stories you can probably bet will be adapted in the upcoming Disney Plus series. Of course, we might be wrong, but what if we're right? We're gonna be right. We'll find out for sure in 2021 when the show finally comes to Disney Plus. But tell me, what do you folks think? What ifs could you see animated for the small screen? And do you think that Chris Evans will eventually give in and join the cast?
No, I don't think I will.
All right, geez. And what's your favorite What If comic? Ours is when Conan the Barbarian becomes a pimp in the 20th century. That actually happened. Look it up. Anyway, let's discuss. Thanks again to Borderlands 3 for sponsoring today's episode. The original shooter looter is back and bigger than ever. With 4 all-new Vault Hunters and over 1 billion guns, it's time to lock, load, and loot. Pick up your copy on Xbox One, PS4, or PC now. Let's make some mayhem. Rated M for mature.